I feel like no matter how much I resisted, if I tried to resist, that Godhood would have found me. I do not think it is by mistake that I had all of these ideas about religion and how none of it seemed to make sense to me, and then later that I was introduced to the teachings of Neville Goddard. I truly believe it's a calling. In my last video, where I talked about letting the sheep sleep, I wanted to make another point. I believe many of them are asleep or are sleeping because they just don't get the call, or better yet, they don't hear the call. I know that I am the king of metaphors. However, I truly believe that the call of Godhood is tantamount to a dog whistle. Only those of us who need to hear it, or only the few of us who are supposed to hear it. Now, I'm not going to BS you with the notion that this knowledge and this being of a human God is for everyone. I don't believe that. I don't believe that everyone is even called to Godhood. Only a select few. Because if everyone was called to it, and everyone could hear the call, if everyone could hear that dog whistle, their ears would perk up, and they'd go running in the direction of that knowledge. And as we all know, few do that. My coming into this knowledge was actually a very slow burn. As I've explained in previous videos, I always had an inkling in my mind that something wasn't quite right. I knew deep in my heart there was more to know and more vast knowledge that was vital. What I didn't realize then is that this knowledge was basically hidden in plain sight, and that there were people who knew this knowledge. And while I don't think that people who know the knowledge of the teachings of Neville Goddard are necessarily hiding it from people, I do believe that those of us who are meant to know this knowledge and to utilize the knowledge, we will definitely be called. We will definitely hear that dog whistle. If you're watching this video and hearing this message, I think that you're hearing it for a reason. For those of you who click off and don't want to hear it and say it's bunk and it doesn't make sense, you're not hearing this message for a reason. Either way, you're exactly right. Throughout my life, I'd seen certain, signs or little indicators that what I was thinking wasn't bullshit and that I was onto something, that I was somehow right about the way that I was thinking about organized religion. I've always been the dissenter. I've always been the outlier in many aspects of my life, particularly when it comes to spirituality and religion. I'm always the odd man out every single time. I never follow the crowd, ever. I always blaze my own trail. I've done that since I was 8 years old. And in many instances throughout my life, I've kind of paid dearly for that. And I'm sure you have too. But don't feel bad about it. Understand that you're on a path to knowledge, and that when you get there, the payout is going to be absolutely mammoth and spectacular. Hearing the call or the dog whistle of this knowledge that Neville Goddard has taught us and is still teaching us is probably the most valuable information you could ever attain in your entire life. I think that's one thing you can be grateful that you're hearing. For whatever reason, you're one of the chosen few who hear the call. You hear that dog whistle. And don't let that law of attraction BS and all of the classes and cruises and all of these expensive things that a lot of these gurus try to sell you, don't let that deter you. I'll tell you this much. The information that I have learned from Neville Goddard has not cost me a cent, but that knowledge is worth its weight in gold. So never mind all of the noise that you're somehow being ripped off because you're listening to the teachings of this great philosopher named Neville Goddard. Even if you go out and buy his books, is the information that he gives you in those books worth everything that you've come to understand and know about yourself? That is one dog whistle I am willing to buy and pay anything for. The majority of the 99% and non-believers or believers of an external God always want to make us feel beguiled or make us feel as if we're stupid, when in actuality, they're the stupid ones. They don't hear the call, they don't hear the dog whistle, and actually, they're the stupid ones. I'm going to tell you something. Anytime you see 99 people out of 100 going in one direction, you best believe you better go in the opposite direction, because the masses are always fooled. And the masses, for the most part, always want a boss. They always want someone to solve their problems for them. We, on the other hand, know that all we have and all we need is within us. We don't need to do anything else. We have every single thing that we need. And the most important thing that we have is the knowledge of our Godhood and the immense fortune of being called to who we truly are. Consider yourself lucky. Consider yourself the richest person in the world and the most fortunate person in the world to have heard that dog whistle. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. And until next time, bye everybody.